You're taking an IQ test, answering questions and solving problems. After some time, you finish the test and get your results. But here's something strange. If you had taken the same test 50 years ago, you would likely have scored even higher compared to people back then. What's going on here? Why are intelligence scores rising over time? This puzzling trend is called the Flynn Effect, and it's been happening for decades. But what is the Flynn Effect, and what does it mean for you? Are we getting smarter as a species, or is something else at play? In this video, we'll explore the fascinating reasons behind rising intelligence scores and uncover what this phenomenon could mean for the future. The Flynn Effect is the observation that IQ scores have been steadily increasing across the globe for over a century. Named after James Flynn, a political scientist and researcher who discovered this trend, the effect shows that people today score much higher on intelligence tests compared to those who took the same tests in previous generations. It's as if the average person's IQ has gone up, even though the tests themselves haven't changed much. Over the past 100 years, IQ scores have risen by about 3 points per decade on average. This may not seem like much, but over a few generations, it adds up. If we compare someone born in 1900 to someone born in 2000, the difference in IQ scores is enormous, about 30 points higher on average. This is equivalent to jumping from the 50th percentile to the 98th percentile, or going from average intelligence to nearly genius level. But what's causing this rise? Are we really getting smarter, or is something else behind the Flynn effect? The idea that humans are becoming smarter over time is appealing, but the truth is more complicated. The rise in IQ scores likely reflects changes in our environment and society rather than a sudden surge in genetic intelligence. Here are some of the key factors driving the Flynn effect. Better education. One of the biggest contributors to the Flynn effect is the improvement in education. Over the past century, more people have had access to formal education, and the quality of schooling has increased. With more years spent in school and a focus on critical thinking and problem-solving skills, it's no wonder that people today perform better on IQ tests, which often measure these same abilities. Improved nutrition. Another factor is better nutrition. In the past, many people didn't have access to enough healthy food, which can affect brain development, especially in children. As food security and nutrition have improved, so has overall cognitive development. Well-nourished brains are better equipped to handle complex thinking and problem-solving tasks. Technology and information exposure. We live in an age of information. With the internet, smartphones, and other technology, we are constantly exposed to new ideas, concepts, and problem-solving opportunities. This mental exercise could be contributing to better performance on intelligence tests, as our brains are trained to think more abstractly and quickly adapt to new information. Smaller family sizes. In many parts of the world, family sizes have shrunk over time. With fewer children to care for, parents can devote more time and resources to each child's education and development. This could lead to better cognitive growth and, ultimately, higher IQ scores. At first glance, the Flynn effect seems to suggest that people today are smarter than their grandparents or great-grandparents. But it's important to remember that IQ tests measure certain types of intelligence, like problem-solving, logical thinking, and spatial reasoning. While people today might score higher on these types of tests, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're smarter overall. In fact, some experts argue that rising IQ scores reflect changes in how we think, not our overall intelligence. For example, many IQ tests measure abstract thinking, something that has become more important in modern society. People today are more used to thinking in abstract scientific terms than people were 100 years ago. This shift in thinking might explain why we're doing better on IQ tests, even if our basic intelligence hasn't changed much. Interestingly, recent research suggests that the Flynn effect might be slowing down, or even reversing in some countries. For example, studies in countries like Norway, Denmark, and Finland have shown that IQ scores have started to decline in recent years. This raises important questions. Why is the Flynn effect slowing down? Are we reaching a limit on how much our environment can boost IQ scores? One possible explanation is that as education systems and living conditions improve globally, we may be hitting a ceiling for how much IQ can rise. There may be limits to how much environmental factors, like better schooling and nutrition, can boost intelligence. Another theory is that changes in technology and lifestyle could be affecting cognitive skills differently. For instance, people might be spending less time on deep, critical thinking due to the distractions of technology and fast-paced living. So, what does the Flynn effect mean for you personally? While the rise in IQ scores is an interesting phenomenon, it doesn't mean that your intelligence is purely determined by your environment or genetics. Instead, the Flynn effect highlights the importance of external factors, like education, nutrition, and mental stimulation, in shaping cognitive abilities. Here's what you can take away from the Flynn effect. Intelligence is malleable. The Flynn effect shows that intelligence isn't fixed. It can change over time, and it's influenced by our surroundings. This means that your intelligence can improve through learning, practice, and exposure to new ideas. You're not limited by your current abilities. There's always room for growth. Environmental factors matter. The rise in IQ scores highlights the role of environmental factors like education, nutrition, and access to information in shaping intelligence. Creating a stimulating environment for yourself, whether it's through reading, solving puzzles, or engaging in discussions, can help boost your cognitive abilities. Don't rely solely on IQ tests. While IQ tests can give you an idea of your problem-solving and logical thinking skills, they don't measure everything. Creativity, emotional intelligence, and social skills are also important aspects of intelligence that IQ tests don't fully capture. So, while the Flynn effect might suggest that IQ scores are rising, remember that intelligence is much broader than what's measured on a test. As we look to the future, the Flynn effect raises important questions about how intelligence will continue to evolve. Will IQ scores keep rising, or will we see a decline as technology and modern life reshape the way we think? The answers to these questions are still unclear, but what we do know is that intelligence is influenced by many factors, and the way we live our lives can have a profound impact on our cognitive abilities. The Flynn effect is a fascinating phenomenon that has sparked debate and curiosity for decades. It reveals that intelligence scores have been steadily rising over time thanks to factors like better education, improved nutrition, and the way our thinking has evolved with modern life. While the Flynn effect might suggest that we're getting smarter, it's important to remember that intelligence is complex and influenced by many factors. As we continue to explore the mysteries of the human mind, the Flynn effect reminds us that intelligence is not fixed. It can grow and change throughout our lives. So, what can you do with this knowledge? Keep challenging your brain, stay curious, and remember that your intelligence is always evolving, shaped by the world around you. Who knows what the future holds for the Flynn effect and for the ways we understand intelligence? Only time will tell.